Morning, guys. Today is October the 11th. It is episode 20. It's about like 5:30 in the morning. I'm rushing a little bit because I woke up late. I've got a meeting at 7 o'clock this morning before I go to work. Kind of like a business development meeting with another local business owner. So I've got to really kind of bust out a leg workout in about 30 minutes, give or take. Take a shower, change, get ready, kind of probably hold Cal, give him some love for a few minutes, and then get out the door. So as you saw, I weighed in today, slept good, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to train and then be on my way. Hey guys, as you just saw, I finished up my workout. It's about 6:07 p.m. Like I said, I didn't take much time at all. Probably took me 35 minutes, maybe a little less. Just some days you got to get it in, get it done. Doesn't matter if it's perfect or exactly what you'd like it to be. I didn't even go very heavy on my intensities as far as loads. It's early in the morning. I didn't get a great warm-up. There's no reason to push it. I'm always kind of like, I don't care to work out in the morning myself, and then I'm always hesitant to always put any kind of heavy loads on my back this early in the morning. So just tried to focus on form, maintaining tension, getting a good pump, and so I tried to limit it to my exercises and just go a little bit higher reps. Did some back squats, some Romanian deadlifts with the front of my feet elevated to really shift my hips back, or shift my weight back into my hips. I did some side lying hip abduction, which it may look funny, but if you've never done that exercise, then you're probably missing out on a really important group of muscles on the outside of your hip that need to be strong and function well. And then I did some supine bridges and some calf raises. And that was really about it. Not a stellar training session, but I got it in, checked that box. It's about consistency, then it's about intensity applied consistently. And so today was one of those days where I just needed to get it done, get it in, because I've got some plans after work to move some stuff and then possibly go to jiu-jitsu, because we're not going to go to the improv thing that I mentioned in the last episode, I think. This was the time I had, so I made it work, made it fit, and I did wake up late, but no worries. Happens. So now I'm going to go inside, get ready, drink a protein shake, hold Cal, and then get on to my meeting before work. So I'll catch up with you guys either at the meeting or after. So yeah. What's up, guys? Sorry for the shadow on my face. I'm driving right now kind of into the sun, so please excuse the big black shadow across my face. I'm headed on the way to work now. It's about 8:30 p.m. I had a business development meeting at 7, which I kind of told you guys about when I finished working out. Essentially, the meeting was with another local business owner who owns a pretty big company doing several different things. I initially met him. He was a client of mine, and we've become pretty good friends and stayed in touch. Basically, the meeting was kind of to discuss how Freeborn Training Systems, my company, can provide his company essentially with value. How can I help his employees with their health and their fitness, and what that looks like, and the costs associated, and that kind of thing. So it was good. I got what I needed, my information, to put together kind of a good offer, and hopefully give them exactly what they're needing, and what his employees are needing, and for the right cost. So that's kind of like on my to-do list now, is put together all that information and send it over so they can incorporate that into some decision-making meetings that they're having. So yeah, I'm telling you guys this because I think, like, if you're a busy, driven dude who possibly maybe wants his own business or start a business, it might be interesting to hear me talk about what I'm trying to do to build my business. So, and then also I got to talk to Kenny just about life in general. Kenny's twice my age, but super experienced, awesome guy, super wise, knows his business really well. I'm pretty sure he has a master's degree in cereal chemistry because he ran some food plants for a little while. Just really awesome guy. I love talking to him. It's one of those things when I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and I'm glad I'm not, because I'm learning a ton. So any conversation with him, I walk away just pumped up and feeling full of insights. But one cool thing that did come out of it was we got to just talking about, one of the biggest things right now that employers are facing is a workforce crisis, so to speak. So as you guys know, I have a day job, and I'll tell you guys, at my day job, I'm literally the youngest person at the plant by like 20 years. Almost everybody that works at the plant I work at is almost 1.5 to 2 times my age, which is crazy because in 10-15 years those people will be retiring, and there's not a young group of understudies looking to come up in their positions. And it's something that Kenny, as he's an employer, and a lot of his employees are getting older, and so that's something he's dealing with. So we got to talking about that, millennials, and the difficulties employers are having hiring, more than hiring millennials, but keeping millennials and keeping them engaged and devoted to the work and committed. And so we got to really talk about that because it's interesting because he's from the older generation. He's twice my age. He grew up in a different work culture, but yet he also has the insight of an employer. And then from my perspective, I have a really weird perspective because for most of the last 4 years, I spent almost all my time training people who are twice my age. Some were business owners, some employees, lots professional, and have careers that are 20-30 years long. And so I got to hear kind of their take on the workforce and work in general, and their view of my generation and the younger generation. I get to hear that where I work at today. You wouldn't believe how much people rag on millennials and people my age, people younger, and so it was really great. It was a really good conversation. He actually asked me if I'd be interested in coming to their strategic planning meeting, kind of sharing my thoughts as a millennial, as somebody who works in a large corporation, as someone who spent a lot of time around 40, 50 years old, and just kind of giving my viewpoint on what maybe employers or companies need to do or change to maybe attract more millennials, and what millennials might need to change to provide more value to their employers and get what they want. So yeah, I think that'll be interesting. Hopefully it'll work out. So he asked me to come and thought it was interesting, so I think I'm going to work on developing some slides, a deck, because that's what the older culture expects during presentations. So yeah, it'll be good. But I'm almost on my way to work. I don't know what I'm going to do for lunch. I actually forgot to bring a protein shake with me, so I might step out and run to the store and get some protein bars or something like that. Not 100% certain, but I'll make do. I'll find a way to get it done. No excuses. Again, sorry for the shadows in this clip. I hate that they're there, but I wanted to record this clip because it was all fresh in my mind. Yeah, so I'll see you guys at lunch. So it's middle of the day, about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And like I said earlier, I didn't bring lunch today because I'm a failure. No, I just forgot, no worries. So I needed to still get some nutrition in, not because I need to stoke the metabolic fire or anything like that, but because one, I'm hungry, and two, in order to hit my macros and calories and nutrient goals and not feel like I'm stuffing my face towards like the end of the day, real late into the night, I need to get something eaten now. So just stepped out away from work, which I have the luxury of being able to do, for a quick 15-minute trip to Walmart, where I got a box of pure protein bars, which is kind of like my protein bar of choice. It's got good macronutrients, good calorie content, and it's good value. I would prefer to buy Quest Nutrition's protein bar because I love that brand. I love the company. I like what they're doing marketing wise, what they stand for. I love all that stuff. However, it's just hard for me to pass up right now where I am financially in my life. It's hard to pass up the value of being able to get 13 protein or 12 protein bars in a box from Pure Protein for like $13.50, I think. So it's just like, if Quest made a bulk buy like that with 12 bars for $14 or $15, I would probably buy their bars. But right now they only retail them in 6-bar packages, I think, and they retail for like 8 something, I think. Don't quote me on the price, but it's just not as good of a value buy. And like right now, financially, I'm trying to budget and save as much as possible where I can, and this is one place where I can save. And plus, it gets me lunch basically, because if I eat 2 bars a day, basically gets me through the entire 5-day work week for like 10-13 bucks for lunch, which isn't bad, because most places, if you eat out lunch someplace, you're talking, you know, $6, $8, $10, $12 a meal, depending on where you go if you're eating out. And even if you were, I think, to buy food at the grocery store and like have like an actual sit-down lunch where you eat a sandwich and chips or whatever you're gonna put in there to meet your calories and macros goals, I still think I would probably spend money buying that stuff than I would protein bars. And like, don't get me wrong, I want to get to a point someday where for lunch I don't eat protein bars, but right now with the work environment where I'm at, it just makes more sense for me to cram 2 protein bars in and keep working and get out of work on time than to stop, take an hour lunch, and possibly end up working later. So yeah, you gotta, nutrition's within the context of everything. It's not just within the context of macros and calories, but also in the context of your lifestyle, your work environment, like goals, priorities, all that stuff. I think it's important to keep reiterating that. I gotta go back to work now, so I'll see you after. So it's been a couple hours since I talked to you guys last. As you can see, it's kind of dark outside. It's 7:10 p.m. right now. It's Tuesday, which means it's jiu-jitsu night, which is why I'm wearing this belt around my neck. So essentially what I did was I came like straight home from work at like 4:45, changed my clothes real quick, had my wife drop me off at my buddy's house, borrowed my buddy's truck. We went over, we got some equipment, we moved that equipment into that new space, which I really wanted to vlog and show you guys part of that, but we were in such a rush that it was like, it just wasn't doable. And I don't want to really show the space until I get it kind of like set up and it looks nice, it's complete. Like I said, it's a small space, but it's a start, and it's big enough to train one person at a time, which is all I need. So we did that, came home, 6:45. I have to leave for jiu-jitsu to really be there on time at like 7. So I'm leaving late. I'm probably gonna get there a little late. Hopefully I'll get there before class starts. I'm hungry. I haven't had anything since my protein bars at lunch. What's wrong? Oh. I haven't had anything since my protein bars at lunch. Right now, on my way to jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna have some Greek yogurt, which eating dairy before you work out, I don't know, it'll probably be fine, it's light. But yeah, I'll have that and then come home and eat dinner, and I'll have a ton of calories to make up and a lot of macros. So it'll be a night of eating, which is never a bad thing. But yeah, I'm tired though. I can feel my eyes hurt. But I really want to go jiu-jitsu tonight and Thursday night because I will not be in town next week. So I'll miss both practices next week, and I missed a practice last week. and I don't know, it's a commitment and I feel like I want to honor it, so I'm gonna go, even though I'd really rather stay home with Kelsey and Cal since I haven't really seen them at all today, but I'm gonna go, so hopefully it'll be fun, not get choked out too much, but I'll see you guys after. I just finished up jiu-jitsu practice. It went good tonight. My elbow feels a ton better since I took Thursday off. You guys have watched previous episodes. Last Tuesday, kind of banged up my elbow, so I took the second practice of the week off, and it felt really good tonight. I rolled pretty well. I didn't roll against a lot of the higher level guys tonight. Like I try to normally go seek them out and just get my butt kicked, because I feel like I learn so much more about where I need to improve from getting beat so badly. It shows me really like how one-dimensional I am in a lot of areas. So yeah, it was a good practice though. I got probably 2 rolls in that I just nailed every kind of move and pass I wanted. Then there was about 3 rolls where I rolled with guys who just have a little bit more experience than me, or higher belts than I am, and they just really frustrate me. I'm not quite as fluid, except for a few moves, which they know, and they've rolled against me enough to kind of understand what I like to do. And so I really have to develop some other aspects of my game to improve. But the reason why I'm sharing all this with you guys is because I was thinking about like progress in jiu-jitsu, and I was thinking about progress in my business. I was thinking about a conversation I had earlier with my wife. She's having some issues with a tendon in her wrist and thumb with some pain. I was talking to her about applying some FRC principles and concepts to rehab it and restore it, and not go the surgical treatment route and try to rehab it along. And I was talking to her about, you know, how slowly connective tissue remodels compared to muscle, and how it takes like diligent practice and effort, and how it's going to take 3, 6, 9 months possibly to really bring this injury of hers back to like full strength and better, and hopefully bulletproof it. And it made me think of like how important it is to really be pulling from 2 ends of the same spectrum. On one hand, you have to be extremely ambitious, and this is tied into everything. For you guys, and for me particularly related to this video, it's fitness. It's being ambitious to have huge goals and want to set big PRs and make big progress, but you also have to be patient enough to understand that you have to put in the work on a daily basis. And then flip-flop those, you have to be ambitious enough in your daily life to go after those things and do the daily things you need to accomplish that vision. But you have to be patient in the grand scheme of things to understand that this stuff is going to take years, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years to develop a real jiu-jitsu game, to develop true fitness and true health, to develop a really long-standing business that can support you and your family. It's difficult, and I didn't really think about it in those contexts until I started following a lot of Gary Vaynerchuk's stuff. And you know, if you're familiar with Gary, you know he can come off really strong, and a lot of people just don't jive with how he delivers things. I do. I like his personality. I like what he has to say, and I feel like what he has to say is immensely valuable. And he talks about this a lot, about you have to be as equally patient as you are ambitious, and you have to constantly be balancing and pulling from each end of that spectrum, and it can be really difficult. And I think that's why it's important to have people in our life, for example, like you know, in jiu-jitsu, it's our coach. He's constantly reinforcing. It's the details. It's the details. It's the details. It's the daily practice that's going to turn your game from kind of good to great to exceptional, and I think that's why it's so helpful to have a coach when you're talking about fitness, because they lay out the larger scale, they lay out the large vision, they lay out the daily tasks, and they encourage you and help to remind you that it's important to execute on the daily tasks so that you can get to the long-term vision. It's why we have business partners, it's why we have mentors, it's why we have family members, wives and husbands, because they're there to remind us that, hey, you've got to put in the daily work, but you also have to remember that just because you do the work in one day doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's going to be this long-term, grand scale patience and ambition, along with patience and ambition in your daily life. And it's super difficult, and I can't tell you that I've got it mastered myself, because I feel like I struggle a lot with it when it comes to business. I feel like I've done a really good job of mastering it when it comes to things like fitness, like it comes to sports like football, baseball, now jiu-jitsu. I feel like I have that mentality in those arenas, and I want to bring that mentality to my business. What I want to try to help by sharing you guys, or help you guys by sharing this, is I want you guys to think about bringing that to your fitness goals, to your health and wellness goals, and how you can be as equally ambitious as you are patient. It's difficult. So if you guys ever want to talk about that, reach out. I'd be happy to talk about it all day long, how we might come up with strategies and daily practices that will encourage it. To get back to the topic of the cut, sorry for the shadow, guys. I'm in my car after practice, so the lighting's not the best. But back to the topic of the cut, which is why you guys are all really watching these videos, is basically I've had a protein shake, 2 protein bars, some coffee with a little bit of cream, and 2 Light and Fit Greek yogurts. So I've got to get home and I've got to eat a big dinner. I've got to eat some big snacks. I got to eat lots of protein, lots of carbs, and I even have plenty of fats really to spend for the rest of the day. So yeah, it's going to be a night of eating. So that's where I'm headed. I'll catch up with you guys then. Hey guys, so I stopped by the store because I'm in need of coffee. I'm a fan of Starbucks Espresso Roast whole bean for a home brew coffee. So that's what I'm getting. However, I know that I'm also going to need some help getting my calories in, so I'm going to pick up a couple Quest bars. I know what I said earlier today about trying to be on a budget and not eating Quest bars because they're a little bit expensive, but I can afford them. It's not like I'm dead broke. It's just if I'm going to buy a bulk package, I might as well buy the better value. However, I just need a couple bars to help add to my calories, so I'm going to indulge myself in a couple Quest bars. I really like their chocolate peanut butter, and I like their chocolate brownie. Oops, dropped my keys. I know you guys are digging my double chin action. So yeah, something to get this stuff and then be on my way back home. So just had to stop and get it. Coffee, Quest bars, the essentials for a cut. So yeah, I'll see you guys at home. It's crazy. It's crazy to me how like odd of looks you get from people when you go into a store and look like I just looked in the store. Like, I mean, you can roll that clip back, but like I don't look all that great. Like, I'm sweaty. I've got like red splotches on my face from like mat burn and ghee burn, and my hair's a mess. It's all like sweaty and half styled with gel sorta still in it. I'm in like my white ghee pants. Like, it's just, I don't look all that like normal. But it also reminds me of the fact that I seek out going to jiu-jitsu practice, the fact that I exercise more than 3 or 4 times a week means that I'm in like the very minority of the population in this country, in terms of like percentage of people who actually exercise or work out. Like, I read a book called We Make Communities by Coach Stephen Michael Bedletter, who's a really smart student of psychology. He's got a master's degree in experimental health psychology, I believe. But he wrote a book called We Make Communities, and in it he talks about some of the statistics revolving around like exercise and health. And like one of the crazy statistics he cites is something like 96% of the population doesn't have a gym membership, something like that, and close to like 98% 8% of the population doesn't exercise on a regular basis, and this is just referring to the US, which is most pertinent because that's where I live. But like that's crazy. Like if you're out there, like guys, if you're watching this and you're a dude who lifts like twice a week, 3 times a week, consistently, year in, year out, you're literally in the top 2% of the population in terms of like physical activity. And even then, we're probably not all that active because like you guys know, like I go to a day job where I spend 8 hours usually. At least 4 of those 8 I spend at a desk. Like some days it's more, some days it's less, but I bet on average it's probably like 2 to 4 hours I spend at a desk. Like the other few hours I'm up, I'm standing, I'm walking around, I'm making samples, that kind of thing. But then even then when I come home, like when I'm at home, I'm on my computer, I'm hustling for my online business. If I'm training clients in person, then I'd be up on my feet, which will be more so the case in the next month or 2, but recently hasn't been the case. So it's still like, that's pretty insane to think that, you know, us people, and I hope that if you aren't one of those people, you are working to become one of those people who exercise that regularly, are in the top 2%. Like, and maybe those statistics aren't current, but still, I guarantee you, not more than 10% of the population in America exercises on a regular basis. Yeah, it just blows my mind. So every time I'm in that environment, like every time I go to Walmart and I look that way, like look like I worked out, look like I sweated and did something physically active, it's just like you get just such odd looks. Like, I don't know, it's kind of surprising to me because it's surprising and off-putting to me because human beings are physical species. We're supposed to be moving, we're supposed to be active, we should be sweating, we should be expending energy, to do things, to get things, but we're just not. And like part of me loves that fact, like part of me loves that I don't have to hunt down my food, I can just walk into Walmart and buy a steak. But then the other part of me thinks, well, as a population, then we have to really be thinking and breaking down population into the individual. Like as individuals, we have to be thinking about how we have to make purposeful, calculated decisions to fight back against those things. Like those things that benefit us, there has to be a balancing force. There has to be, okay, now I don't have to work so hard for my food, but that means that I'm gonna have to make dedicated time, dedicated space in my home, dedicated space in my week, dedicated space in my budget for my physical activity, for my health, for my nutrition, like all those things. And we're not taking those steps, and we need to be. Like that's just my little soliloquy on walking around dressed in my gi pants while looking really sweaty in Walmart. So almost home. I'm interested to see what's for dinner. I did get a Monster at the store because I got to edit this vlog before I go to bed, and I'm gonna need a little caffeine to get me there. So I did get that. And don't worry, guys. Like, I know you guys are like, oh my gosh, Steven, it's 9:30 at night and you're drinking caffeine. What's wrong with you? Trust me, I've done I know John Berardi, like one of my heroes, is out there somewhere saying caffeine's a stimulant, regardless of whether you think it is or not. And like I believe John and I trust him, but like I can drink the Monster, it will get me up and keep me awake long enough to do the work I need to do, and I'll be able to go to bed, and I'll sleep well enough and fine enough that I'll be able to get up, do my workout, do my things in the morning, hold my son, go to, like, I get it, guys. Like, I get it. That's probably not optimal, but it's what I'm, like, again, it's in the context of my goals, my priorities, things I have going on. So I'm gonna drink the Monster. I'm gonna go in here and see what my wife made for dinner, real late dinner after jiu-jitsu, and chill out. So I'll probably make one last clip, just kind of summarize everything I've eaten or will eat, and then that way I can get this edited and uploaded. So see you in a bit.
Talk about their kids liking Henry the Monster or something, and then she's not like doing those stupid sexual.
Hey guys, last clip of the day real quick. What you guys saw me eat last was a basically a chicken quesadilla or 2 chicken quesadillas. It was 2 whole wheat, I think, tortillas with some chicken, some pico, and I added steak to it as well. It was like a HelloFresh meal, but it didn't have a ton of protein content, so I added to it with some steak. And then after that, I had a glass of whole milk and 2 Quest bars. And that got me pretty much up to my daily totals. So all in all, I got it all in, even though I had a ton left over after going to jiu-jitsu practice and everything. So yeah, just another day, another step closer in the cut. I'm really thinking that based on what I see tomorrow, I'm really going to start to cut calories quite a bit. I went from 2,800 to 2,600, but I haven't been very good about sticking to that new 2,600 mark. Partly because I wasn't totally committal on like whether or not my weight had dropped that much. So we'll see. But I think I'd like to go down to maybe 2,200 or 2,400 calories and cut quite a bit more, and really try to make some progress over the next 4 to 5 weeks going into it'll be like the 8th week. By the 8th week, I want to have made some pretty significant gains. So really buckle down here, get serious, chop the calories down, get into a little bit more of a deficit. But we'll kind of make that call tomorrow once we review progress photos and all that good stuff. I'm happy. Like, I feel like I've got a good rhythm. I feel like I've taken some inches off. I definitely feel like my physique is slowly starting to look better. I can notice in certain areas. It's not super visible to like the camera or probably other people who aren't in person, but to me, just like looking at myself in the mirror, I can notice the difference so far. So that's important. I think that's very important. Yeah, so just another episode. We're gonna keep this thing going. So I appreciate you guys watching, supporting, giving me your feedback. It's much appreciated. I hope these videos are helping you guys. Hope they're adding value. And if there's anything more you guys want to see or for me to do, please reach out. Let me know. Email, social media, comment section. But until I hear from you guys, hope you had a great day. Hope you have a great rest of your week. And I will see you tomorrow or in the next episode, just depending on what the time frame is when you're finally getting around to watching all these episodes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.